Yeah. It should just start automatically on here. Yep, it's on. Right. Now I've got to try and fucking watch it. And hope that it actually fucking works, innit?
At youtube.com/WrestlePlug.
Pretty much.
/live or something.
Yeah, your mic's a little bit crackly, mate. I don't know if that's on your end or not.
Oh, I've got a space heater going on behind it. I'll turn that off real quick because it might be interfering with the sound randomly.
Yeah, the sound quality on your end is pretty poor, to be fair.
It's always like that on Skype, and I never understand why. Like, can I move it down? Hold on. Maybe? Hold on. I want the whole thing. Come here. Whole thing. I've got it, like, right in front of me now.
I'm waiting for the stream to show up on my end. Here we go. Hopefully, if anyone's watching, they'll sort of chime in and help me out.
Yeah, like, does mine sound any better?
Yes, yeah, much better.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's just I moved it closer to my face.
Yeah, I'm just loading up the stream on my laptop, so you might get a bit of audio feedback. I want to make sure it's right, because I don't want people watching it and then the audio's out of sync, because then it will just turn them off.
No, that's fair.
That's so slow and sluggish. Oh, also, your fucking thing's done that annoying thing where OBS fucking moves you back. It's fucking infuriating when it does that. I don't understand why OBS randomly moves people's screen.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Fucking bullshit. Right, there we go. Fuck off. Do me a favour, clap a couple of times for me. Nice and slow like that, in front of the camera. You can stop now.
Okay.
Yep, seems fine. Cool. Cool. I guess we'll just chat and hope that somebody fucking joins in, innit?
Yeah, fair.
And that way I can keep an eye on OBS in the background, mate. Right. What I'll do is I'll record it as well on mine, then I can just use the audio for the audio podcast. That'll be easier.
Yeah.
Ready to go, mate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy fucking days are here again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestling Podcast. You might be watching this live. If you do, feel free to chime in at any point. If you're not watching it live, don't worry about it. You can rewatch this. You might be listening to us on our audio platform as well. We are, of course, available everywhere and anywhere. For some reason, Kyle Wilkinson keeps shrinking. I apologise for that. That's something to do with OBS being cunty. Although right now he seems to be okay. So we'll just hope for the fucking best, won't we? Simple as that, really. Yeah. Feel free, ladies and gentlemen, to use the chat to interact. Of course, while we're going along, you can ask questions, tell us what you thought, and we'll share your opinions as we go as well. What I will do as well, actually, is I'll plug this on social media so people are actually aware that we're fucking there.
I mean, not a terrible idea.
Yeah. Otherwise, people are going to be like,
What, they did a live thing?
Who did a live? What? Yeah, I don't do live very often because it's really labour intensive. Yeah.
Yeah, like streaming, like even when I'm like streaming League of Legends or whatever, like I always try to like look at the chat every once in a while to make sure if someone says something, I'm like, shit, I gotta make sure I respond.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, what's the fucking point, innit? Like, unfortunately, YouTube does not make it very easy in terms of people watching this. So, especially if you want to fucking plug it. Right.
Can always just throw something up on the old Twitter real quick.
I was going to say, if you've got a link. Problem is, my laptop is like proper straining itself with all the RAM and shit at the moment. It's like, oh, I can't handle it. PhD. Bear with us if you are checking in, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to leave a comment and we will discuss whatever you're saying. If you are watching this right now, I appreciate it. It's not exactly stellar viewing, but I want to make sure it's right before we get cracking, obviously.
Yeah, want to provide the best
It's basically
viewing
my
experience.
fault for having a piece of shit laptop, innit? Let's be honest. I need a update, but unfortunately when you are poor, innit, that's not a good place to be. Cool.
Copy the link. That's cool.
Yeah, Twitter has taken like 10 years to fucking load up on mine. Fuck's sake. Why? Why must I have a terrible laptop, a terrible internet? It's got 24 mega RAM in it, it's doing nothing. Fuck's sake.
Ooh.
Absolutely cretinous. Oh.
This should work. Did that link work? I'll click the link to make sure it works. It works. Hell yeah.
It continues to struggle. Fucking Richard Borjak just tweeted, probably the worst Royal Rumble I've seen. Not watched wrestling for a long time. Won't be watching again. Like, I'm amazed.
What a grouchy person.
I know, right?
And that's coming from me. I'm a miserable old man.
Yeah, we're miserable old people. We fucking loved it. How could you? Oh man, people. That's just wrestling fans, isn't it?
In a nutshell. Mind-boggling, mate. Just mind-boggling.
Right, I had an image, tag a few people, and off we go. Boom, there we go. The problem is, anyone in Britain's all going to bed now, isn't it?
True.
Don't blame them either, to be fair. Cool. Where my American brethren at?
I expect some Canadian support in this one. Christ.
That would be nice. Seeing as Canada ruled the roost tonight, baby. Or at least in the men's. Right. Tweet's been sent. Hopefully some people will jump in. At least you haven't moved since we started again.
I mean, that's a good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good.
That is very true. Right, I'm recording the stream, so I'll probably just use this. Yeah, because I can't be asked to fucking do like. So actually, I don't know. I might record like a shorter podcast afterwards, just in case. Tell you what, we'll do a short one here and just talk quickly about live reactions. And then we'll do a proper like review of the show afterwards, and then we can put that all in like a big sort of like fucking, big old clusterfuck podcast that we can drop over the next couple of days, and that will give me time to edit it properly as well. Right. Live stream, fuck it, let's get into it. Carl Wilkinson, man, we just watched the Rumble, innit? That was good, wasn't it?
I haven't liked wrestling very much for the past probably year, but it's the Royal Rumble season, and it always sucks me back in. And this one, oh man, mojito, fuck, damn.
Yeah, I'm on my
But
fifth.
Jesus Christ, what a show!
Yeah,
What a fucking show!
It's weird because like WWE has such a reputation of winding fans up, and people always lose. But the reason why we keep coming back is because people, because they have shows like this, which are world class. Like, you gave the 2020 Royal Rumble, didn't you? Your best pay-per-view of the year on our awards show. And, who could argue? I thought that show was great. And here we are, like, fast forward a year. And once again, they put on an absolute banger. I honestly wonder why people... Like, I'm seeing on social media right now, people are unhappy about all the results. So, hi Astrid. Yeah, ultimately... Why are people complaining? This was fucking amazing. Let's talk. Seeing as this is a shorter reaction, we will be dropping a proper podcast later on, ladies and gentlemen. Proper Royal Rumble review will be dropped as a video, which you can check out any time. This is just a live reaction feed, just to kind of test the waters a little bit, and also to get some of that buzz out, because we are buzzing after that. It was crazy good, crazy good. let's get right to it, mate. Edge winning the Men's Royal Rumble. Fucking number one all the way to the end. And the stunning, we got everything we wanted. What do you want for a Royal Rumble? You want surprises. You want good wrestling.
Check.
Yeah.
Check.
You got your surprises. You got good wrestling. You want the best winner possible.
Check.
Everything for me.
As far as I'm concerned, check.
Astrid Pizarro says it was such a great pay-per-view. Astrid has good taste. That's why, let's be honest.
She knows what's going on.
Exactly. How can you not like Edge winning? For me, this isn't necessarily about... Because I'm seeing it. People are saying, oh, it's an old man who's won the Royal Rumble. Why didn't they give it to someone else? First of all, right, Nakamura's already won a Royal Rumble, had his chance. Boo fucking who. He wasn't that over. Sorry. If he was that big a deal, you would have made a big deal out of him the first time around. So... I know, thank you very much. Laugh jokes. No, seriously, you do have good taste. End of story. And I absolutely urge you to continue to let us know what you thought of the pay-per-view as we go and talk about the matches. For me, Edge winning this is the ultimate sign of redemption. They were going to kind of go down that route, weren't they, last year with him facing Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Fast forward, of course, a year. He had to take so much time out of injury again. I believe tearing his triceps at Backlash against Randy Orton for him to come full circle. And let's not forget, I don't care whether you think he's an old man or not, whether he's 46, 47 years old. He went from number one to the end. Find me many wrestlers who can do that and do it well and still tell all those great stories. But literally right there, as 1 and 2 as the great moments, is Christian coming back and reuniting with Edge. Like, come on, Kyle. Kyle, you're Canadian, mate.
Tears.
Tell us about it. Tell us about the feels.
Because WWE are cunts and spoiled numbers 1 and 2.
Yeah.
We knew. Although, to be fair, they had originally announced Edge as number 2, but he came out at number 1.
Yeah.
Which makes the whole going coast to coast a little different. That's probably why they did it that way. Because people like Rey Mysterio won it from number 2, but he wasn't the first in the ring.
Yeah.
Like, the belt doesn't ring till there's 2 people.
Plus, it's nice to have a different Canadian go coast to coast.
What are you talking about? I don't know if any other
No
Canadians
idea,
ever
mate.
gone
Redacted. No idea who the other guy was. No idea. Only one Canadian's
Yeah.
ever done it. Shut your mouth.
I know Brock Lesnar won 2003, and then Batista won 2005.
Yes.
2004 is a bit of a... Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just...
2004 didn't exist. I'm expecting Will Smith with one of those things to pop up. You can see anything. Tell me about Edge and Christian, though, mate, because I'm obviously buzzing, but I want to know how you feel. You're Canadian. Edge and Christian have been such a massive fabric of you as a wrestling fan growing up. To see them reunited, to see Christian come back, and to see them both in the ring doing what they do and still going with the best of them, it must be emotionally quite overwhelming, because I honestly was almost moved to tears at one point when they hugged each other. I was like, man, this is... someone cutting onions up in here.
That alone. Because I was already buzzing. We'll talk about it a bit from the Kevin Owens Roman Reigns match. So I was already swelling with Canadian pride because Kevin Owens is the best doing it right now in WWE. Roman's obviously, incredible, but I think no one, you said it when we were watching it together, no one's going to get a match out of Roman Reigns like Kevin Owens did. So I was already on that Canadian high. And then Edge came in. Him and Orton beat the shit out of each other. I'm like, this is fun. I know Orton had the knee thing, whatever. But then when Christian came out, when I heard Story of the Years, Just Close Your Eyes, I heard that song. I'm like, no. I scared the shit out of my dog. She was sleeping next to me. She just stood up. It's like, what the fuck was that? I'm pretty sure I woke up my mom upstairs. I'm like, I can feel the tears welling up right now. I was so happy when they hugged, man. I felt like I was there. I know that might sound weird to some people, but I just felt like I was sitting front row and the Thunderdome and seeing 2 of my heroes just embracing, because they've both been through so much. Edge, all that neck surgery and stuff. Christian being told he could never wrestle again. I think also because of neck and concussion issues and stuff. And to see them both in the ring, shredded as shit, by the way. Can I just say, Christian looked magnificent.
Yeah,
and
people slagging them off don't realise how hard it is. Even Goldberg, who we're going to talk about in a second, great condition, these guys, for their age. At least they're turning up and looking good for their age and not like a fat piece of shit Republican, eh? Just saying, they care about how they look and they care about how they present themselves. And they care about the product, and they represent the product well, I know it's always been a body guy company, but come on, Edge and Christian, to be in that shape after you've gone through years of debilitating injury, to be on that level, and to be able to work that level with the younger guys and hold them up as well, and make them look as good as you can be, is really important. So, you know, it was a great Rumble as well. Like, obviously, we're going to cover it more in our audio/video podcast. This isn't the only video we're going to do. As I've mentioned, we're going to have a full video review that will be dropping in probably, you know, tomorrow, sort of the later hours of Monday, before Raw. Obviously, give you guys an opportunity to check it out. Thank you very much for making our YouTube as successful as it has been recently as well. We've shot up in subscribers, getting close to that 200 mark, which means that we're giving away one of these bad boys, or a t-shirt of your choice. But yeah, the men's Rumble was great. We had plenty of surprises. That Carlito comes back. By the way, speaking of guys who have got great bodies, Carlito has never looked better.
He was swole, dude.
Oh, tank, mate. Like, I work hard on my shoulders, as you can see, but he was another story. Like, out here, bro. It's like, Jesus. I loved it. And what I loved as well is, when the heels had the opportunity to do the job, they did it properly. Baron Corbin, for instance, eliminating Shinsuke Nakamura was really good. Really loved that. You know, I could have done without Matt Riddle being in there, as you know. Like, we spent so much of it, like, we were watching it live, going, get out of the fucking ring! Like, I was so angry at Matt Riddle. Puerto Rican pride. Carlito, obviously part of the Colon family, who are very famous in Puerto Rico. Like, he can still go, and I really hope he's going to be signed to a contract and he's going to work, because he could be so good in that mid-card. You know, imagine Carlito, winding up MVP, winding up the Hurt Business, getting involved in that US title hunt. I think that would be excellent. I think there is still room for some of the older guys who can still go. You know, this ignorance of everyone's got to be 20 years old, I don't think that's fair, actually, and that's why they have NXT in place, so you can see the true strength and the youth of this product going at it. But this men's Rumble, I mean, you remember I was saying to you, the first third of it, I was like, this is a bit lackluster. And the women's Rumble was so good, and I thought, wow, the women are actually going to eclipse the men. And then all of a sudden, this just came to life, and a lot of it had to do with, obviously, you know, as soon as Kane came down and we got the Daniel Bryan Team Hell No reunion, and then he turned on, I was like, all of a sudden, it just switched gears like that and became this magical moment. And just like last year, the booking, they built you and built you and built you, and they made you wait for what you wanted. And that's really good. You shouldn't just fucking blow it all out of the water. This is why AEW can struggle sometimes with their pay-per-views, because they're so obsessed with give it now, give it now, give it now. FTR versus Young Bucks, do it now, do it now. So no, patience. The greatest stories take a long time to build. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And both of these Rumbles were booked immensely, and Edge is going to go to WrestleMania and be in the main event, and I guarantee you he will have a world-class, damn near 5-star, if not 5-star plus match. It's going to be magical. I personally would like to see him face Drew McIntyre, but I wouldn't necessarily
100%.
be against him versus Roman Reigns as well, because I feel like both of those guys would work really well as well. Edge has got perfect pickings, hasn't he? Or maybe we're going to get Edge versus Finn Balor for the NXT title. You never know. I doubt it somehow.
That would be saucy, but not quite as saucy as all of us getting worked. Because when Edge threw out Seth Rollins, we're like, that's it. He's won. And then he turns around, snap into that RKO. We're like, fuck, we forgot Orton was still in this.
He's the Viper, isn't he?
Oh,
and that's the thing. It was
so good.
Living up to his character as well. Everybody who plays their character played it well. Pay attention if you're a young wrestler. You know, this is the idea behind... Be faithful to your character. Of course Randy Orton would wait until the most opportune moment to strike and take out Edge. Am I happy that, you know, there are little things you could say, oh, Edge could have sold the RKO a lot more, or maybe countered it or whatever, but I don't care. You're in the moment and you're freaking out because you're like, you think he's going to have it taken away from him, and, you know, and that's what this show does. This is why, for me, the Royal Rumble is the best pay-per-view in the history of wrestling. I really believe that. The history of sports entertainment-based wrestling especially. I will be stunned if any pay-per-view across any network, and I love a lot of different companies, but I'll be amazed if any pay-per-view gets close to this in terms of the sheer drama, tension, and storytelling. Men's Rumble was fantastic. Anything you want to cover before we jump to the women's, mate?
No, I think it's a perfect transition, because the women's Royal Rumble was just as good.
Masterful.
I'm not going to say it's better or worse. I think they were on par, I think, this year. Like, both the men's and the women's were equal in how incredible they were. Some of the booking in the women's was a little weird to me sometimes, But I mean, it was weird with the men's too, right? Like
Well, we had a
Riddle
title
lasting for
change
30
during the
minutes.
women's. And it's not often you get a title change during the women's Royal Rumble. R-Truth getting pinned by Alicia Fox with the 24/7 title, which I thought was great.
I popped for that a little
I
bit.
did.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, because like you, I was like, do you have to have the men come down and shit in the middle of this? Like, you know, let the women have their moment. But they kind of countered that by having a woman win the 24/7 championship. Great stuff. Really good. Nice to see. R-Truth, of course, he's always great as playing the idiot. And I love the fact that he's not too arrogant or too egotistical to make sure that everybody gets a slice of the pie and has a good time with it. Because it's a fun belt, innit? It's a comedy belt. They've made no mistake of that, and they've, you know, set the stall out early with the 24/7 title. But the Women's Rumble, Bianca Belair wins the Women's Royal Rumble, which means people need to start fucking crying and whinging now about equality and opportunities and things like that. Because Bianca Belair has been booked beautifully. Last year, it was a test run. Give people the opportunity to see what they can do. Same with Rhea Ripley as well. Bianca Belair did so well last year, lasting 30, 40 minutes in the Women's Royal Rumble. This year, she pretty much goes, she comes in at number 3 this year.
Yeah, I think
and goes
she
all the way
came in
to
third.
the end as well. So not only does she pretty much run the gauntlet, but she also does it against some of the best and wins it. You know, it makes her look even more credible. You know, the emotion pouring out of her at the end. I think Bianca Belair is a great choice this year. And also, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair did the business well. They went in there and they looked strong and powerful and world class. And yet, by the end of the Rumble, you know, they had moved out of the way to make sure Bianca Belair looked all the more special for it. I like Charlotte Flair laughing on the outside when she got eliminated. It was kind of like this insinuation, yeah, you got me, you cheeky fucking youngster, you got me. I didn't expect you to get me. Good for you. I like that. And also, great storytelling, because it was those 3 women who were kind of going back and forth. Remember, it was Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. They thought they were going to go for the NXT title. Then Charlotte Flair gets involved, and, you know, the famous promo, "You don't go here." That's continuation. That's storytelling. Everyone whinges, WWE doesn't tell stories anymore. Fuck off. There's your continuation. If you want to say that you're not a fan of WWE for whatever reason, that's fine. But don't lie to people. Don't go on social media and tell them that WWE never does anything good. Because this was brilliant. And everybody involved in this Rumble as well. Even the legends, you know. They came out, they did their little turn, they helped put other people over, and then they got out the fucking way. They didn't come in and clog up the space. It didn't feel like there was anyone really unnecessary. Even Jillian, who I thought, oh God, here we go.
Jilly
That
K.
worked. Yeah, Jilly K, which is we've coined the term Jilly K, which is going to be our new fresh tag team. That was funny and it was entertaining. Billie Kay was fantastic, by the way. She was the comedy relief. She reminded me a little bit of the Heath Slater kind of gimmick where he kept getting beaten up. Was it Heath Slater? I think it was, where he kept getting beaten up at the Rumble.
Yeah, and then Sheamus threw him in, and then just Heath knocked out Sheamus.
Immediately throws him out again. Like, yeah, it's good. It's nice to have that comedy element there. Could kind of detract a little bit, so not everything's as serious. Even Kane, even though he's this big monster and, you know, he's looking, you know, a little bit worse for the wear as he's getting on now, bless his heart. But even he comes down, you know, shows off his power a little bit, and then, you know, Damian Priest eliminates him. What a fucking great little notch on his belt. Damian Priest had a great turn in the Men's Rumble, which we'll discuss a lot more in the other podcast. But, man, this show was booked so well. This Women's Rumble was fantastic. What did you think of the Women's Rumble overall before we jump to the other matches, mate?
Excellent winner. Honestly, my top 2 picks were the last 2 in the Rumble. I had to be either Ripley or Belair. I did kind of have Alexa Bliss at 3rd, but she got knocked out almost immediately, which I thought was really, really interesting. Like, Rhea Ripley's like, no, I'm not going to let you do whatever the fuck it is you're doing right now. Bye. I'm like, ooh, are we going to get maybe a little fiendish Alexa and Rhea Ripley at some point? Because that would be really cool.
I really like that, because you would have...
Rhea doesn't get scared.
Well, look at the booking you've had on Raw as well. Astrid says Damien did so good, more Puerto Rican pride for me. The Puerto Ricans taking over. What have I said about Latin American wrestlers as well? How good is that Latin identity from Mexico to Puerto Rico? You know, further afield in South America. Really making a real impact. You know, I'll tell you what, never has the LWO been needed more than it is now. She also says, I was surprised by how quickly Alexa was eliminated. I was as well, actually. I was just about to mention that, because she's been built as the biggest part of Raw alongside Randy Orton and The Fiend. You know, she's been closing the last couple of Raws, the rivalry she's had with Asuka. Orton RKOing her, this big kind of shocking end to Raw this week, and you thought she's going to come down, she was going to channel, obviously Bray Wyatt, whether he's inside her or not, phrasing, and ultimately Rhea Ripley, great notch further. She's like, fuck you, And that's, Alexa Bliss has been arguably the biggest female star on Raw for the last couple of months. So Rhea Ripley comes right over and goes, get your ass out. I wanted more of the special effects during the match with her. I'm okay with them not overusing it, because there's probably going to be a lot more use of it on Raw. So for me, although I get what Astrid is trying to say, for me, ultimately, I'll change Kyle's window, by the way. That's on me, not Kyle. Don't worry about it. I know, it seems like you're alright. I think it's just the stream acting up. It's being a bit weird. I don't know why. According to the stream, you're large for some reason. Here's what it is. Whatever. We'll soldier on, won't we? We'll soldier on. But yeah, for me, not using that too much is a good thing, because it could have overwhelmed the Rumble. And also, I don't think it would have been a good look if you had all of a sudden her channel all of the special effects and the Bray Wyatt stuff, and then beat the shit out of 10 different women at once. It would have looked really crappy, and it would have made the rest of your roster those soft. This way, it's like, oh, she just got caught by Rhea Ripley, and it doesn't kind of affect her ability to channel that, because I'm not a big fan of Alexa Bliss all of a sudden going boo, turning, and then just being able to completely dominate whoever she likes, because it just looks a little too hokey for me.
You mean like Festus?
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Luke Gallows with some Festus?
Yeah, they stole it off of Festus. I can't wait for the social
100%.
media. Social media is going to kick off and fuck off, you stole it off fucking Festus. It's like, just, no. Simple as that. Yeah, I can only apologise for Kyle Wilkinson's window. I have no idea what's going on. This is a test run. Try not to take it too seriously, ladies and gentlemen, but hopefully it won't affect your enjoyment of our opinions as we go. I want to talk about Goldberg and Drew McIntyre very quickly, because it was very quick. Drew McIntyre won. Goldberg got out of the way. He came out, he did the job, hit a few spears, did what he wanted to do. I thought it was very inoffensive. I thought this was the least offensive way you could have used Goldberg on this pay-per-view, to be fair. What did you think, mate?
This was honestly the best use of Goldberg since Survivor Series 2016 when he came back. Because, he beat Lesnar then in 91 seconds, whatever. I was there, but I don't remember because it just happened so fast. Then he beat Kevin Owens, he's beaten The Fiend, he's beaten all these people for the championship for no reason. And so I'll be honest, coming into this, I was pretty fucking worried. I was like, they're going to do it, aren't they? They're going to derail. Drew just got back on the horse after losing the title for 3 weeks, which was stupid. Why'd they even bother? But, whatever. And then this match was, we talked about what we were watching. It was like playing SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, and you gave each guy five full finishers. They were spamming, they do the kick to the gut and then just spam L1. That's what happened. Yeah. We got, the spear through the barricade was pretty sick.
Yeah, it works every time, like he did to Lesnar at Mania 33. Oh
yeah, it gets you every time.
Carbon copy of that match, really, in many ways, just not as effective, I think, because Lesnar for me was a better fit. Actually, I think Lesnar actually, for all the stuff that people say about Lesnar, I think he actually works better with Goldberg than most people in the modern era do. He's actually got some of the best stuff out of Goldberg. So
it's because their styles are so similar, right? They just mesh so well together. They're literally just two 260, 270 pound guys just spamming their finishers. If you look back at what Lesnar used to be able to do, 2002 to 2004 before he left, he was an incredible worker. Really. He's, that one time he sandbagged and Hardcore Holly and broke his neck, shit happens, but he was a young kid. He's probably a bit of a shit disturber then anyway. Doesn't excuse it, but now, he can still, the 60-minute Iron Man match with Kurt Angle on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. But he doesn't need to do that now. He can't do that anymore.
This is what wrestling fans don't get, though, innit? They think that, just because you're a star or because you are selected as a star or shown off as one, that you have to wrestle 50-minute matches every week. Yeah, that's great that Daniel Bryan can turn up and do that. And that is why people like Daniel Bryan and Cesaro and Nakamura and guys like that are there, to give you those longer, good wrestling matches. Guys like Brock Lesnar, I don't need to see Brock Lesnar wrestle for 50 minutes. He can do all his good shit in 5 minutes. So why would I need to see it stretched right out? I don't need to. Nope. And that's the same with this match. It was fine. It was absolutely fine. The other title match was really the storytelling point, though, wasn't it? Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens was a... I told you it was going to be match of the night. Me, personally, from a wrestling standpoint, match of the night. I think,
absolutely.
Obviously, it's difficult. The Rumble matches, it's hard to say, because obviously they're the most enjoyable matches, but they're different, aren't they? They're different entities. But Owens...
They're not one fall to a finish.
Owens and Reigns have got this, folder of world-class matches, and just slide this one right in there. That's what they do. Roman Reigns, when it's all said and done, and people remember this run of Roman Reigns, and they talk about how special he was, and how incredible he was, I hope that people will look back particularly on this match, and on this rivalry with Kevin Owens, and think, Kevin Owens helped get Roman Reigns to another level of what he could be. And I'm sure if you ask Roman Reigns backstage, all kayfabe aside and all that, he would probably say, Kevin Owens is doing wonders for my career right now. And vice versa. It helps elevate Kevin Owens that little bit further as well. Because now all of a sudden, Kevin Owens feels so legit. He has taken the most dominant Universal Champion you could ask for, and he's taken him right to the limit. 3 times now, in high-profile title matches, the TLC match, the Steel Cage match on SmackDown, and now this match, this Last Man Standing at the Royal Rumble. Some of the spots were wild as well. The Swanton bomb off the fucking forklift was insane. Like, he made just, what? After that, I didn't really care that Jeff Hardy was in the Rumble. I was like, sorry, Jeff, sling your it, mate. Nobody cares. Like, ultimately, you're here for a crazy Swanton bomb, and Kevin Owens has completely plumped you on that. Although I could do without Michael Cole telling everybody, this is where we practice all the spots for wrestling back here.
No shit.
Like, that's some carny bullshit right there, mate. That's an AEW line if I ever heard one. It is what it is, but this match was magical and truly, truly worthy of being, one of the highlights. I think when it's all said and done, I'm probably going to remember this as one of the matches of the year. I thought this was a masterpiece. And that's, oh, by the way, definitely... the golf cart. Amazing. So much better than the AEW one. Oh, by the way, AEW fans, fuck off. You didn't invent a golf cart spot, and you sure as hell didn't invent it in wrestling. WrestleMania 17, and actually well beyond that. If you go back and watch Mid-South and stuff, they used to do crazy shit like that all the time. Seriously, grow up. Such a bunch of entitled twats. Really. Also, you're still watching the Royal Rumble, aren't you? So, enough said, really. You obviously saw it.
Yeah, so I believe a little bit of fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you must have been very proud. More Canadian identity here, mate. The Canadians really did themselves proud. This should be called the Royal Rumble in Canada. It was masterful.
Man, if we ever got a Rumble in Toronto, I would spend all the money. All of the money. Front row, every time. Don't care.
Yeah, sign me up for that. I'll fly over for that. That'd be fantastic. Get me a ticket and I'll fly over. Marvellous.
Man. But, there were a few, repeat spots, like when Roman tossed Kevin off from up at the Thunderdome, through the tables. We saw that already, but it didn't matter because it looked so good. Kevin he flew through the air. He is very graceful for a man his size.
Yeah, he is.
He just sailed slow and he flew until he hit the ground.
Yeah.
And
splat.
You already mentioned the Swanton. You mentioned Reigns coming with that golf cart out of nowhere, by the way, because I wasn't looking for it. Just oh shit, right through the windshield. Was awesome. We had the spear through the Tron, or the panels and shit underneath the Tron. This match was violent. It was a slobber knocker. That's what you call it. Even though the guy that uses that word, who's destroying his legacy every week on AEW Dynamite, Wednesday nights on TNT. But yeah,
it's just the ending, isn't it? It's just the ending that was kind of a letdown. We'll discuss it more on the podcast, like I say. But the ending was a little bit
clickbait. Listen to that later.
Clickbait. Yeah. check out our audio podcast as well when you're chilling out at work and whatnot, and obviously dealing with life's unfortunate circumstances. I must admit the ending disappointed me slightly. Probably it was slightly botched as well, wasn't it, with a handcuff spot, which didn't help. That kind of killed the moment as well. If he could have got straight out of it probably would have been okay. And it was kind of like Kevin kind of had to kind of be a bit of an idiot and wait, and then he gets kind of jumped in the guillotine, and that's it. And you think, I get it, and I get they're trying to get that over, aren't they? That move, they're really trying to put that over. That will lights out anybody, and I understand that, and that's fine. Particularly if you're into the more realistic kind of match stoppage scenarios, but it did just kind of feel like, oh, he's got it on, oh, he's out, okay, 10, get out of here. And it's like, it's a shame. It's that perfect ending away from being 5-star for me. So for that reason, I'd probably give it 4.5. It would have been 5-star for me if the ending had been gotten, just been tweaked that little bit. But sometimes they're out of your scenario, and let's not forget it is live TV. So you've got to act on a whim, and ultimately, you can't say anything fairer. Roman Reigns is giving you the best Roman Reigns you're ever probably going to see out of him, and Kevin Owens is giving you some of the greatest wrestling matches of the modern era. You know, if you didn't like any of this rivalry, I'm sorry, I just think that you don't like wrestling. You just don't have a soul, you don't have a heart. If you haven't at some point picked someone out from this and gone, that was great, I don't know what to tell you, to be honest.
What are you watching for?
Yeah, I know, right? That's wrestling fans in a nutshell. Just quickly, before we cut off, and then we'll get to recording our extra content, which you guys can check out later. Clickbait. Sasha Banks versus Carmella. Sasha Banks retains in a good physical contest. Of course, Reginald, the sommelier, was involved. Just, again, Sasha Banks cementing her legacy as one of the best women's workers of the modern age. This is with Sasha Banks, of course, was your 2020 award for Wrestler of the Year, which was fantastic. My Wrestler of the Year didn't even get on the main show. Even though being a dual champion going into it. Amazing. But it is what it is. Probably the only downside actually was the fact that I didn't see a little bit more Asuka. Always want to see a little bit more Asuka. Astrid Pizarro, incredible as always. I don't know if you're talking about us or the Royal Rumble. I mean, I am incredible.
Can't be us.
Yes, it could be us. It could be us. Why not? We are incredible. We're a lovely pair. We're gorgeous, aren't we? Yes. Doing it for the UK and Canada. The Empire is back. But yeah, no, Sasha Banks is just fuck it. And do you know what? Can we talk about how good Carmella is? Oh, she's talking about Sasha Banks, not us. I mean, ultimately, Sasha Banks is far more incredible than we are. Either. You guys are too. Oh, stop.
Behave.
Oh, you. But ultimately, yeah, no, Carmella's been fantastic in this too as well, and she feels like a bigger star for it. And again, this is what the greatest wrestlers for me do. They bring the other talent up with them. They do, and she's done a great job of that. She really has. Both women look fantastic. Sasha Banks retains. Got to think it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Black excellence at the WrestleMania. You know, in front of a live crowd
that's a money
as well.
match.
Yeah. You know, equality is alive and well. You know what? Okay, WWE has taken a long time to get to this point, a lot longer than they should have, but they're really giving us some really special and very cool moments, and we're seeing progression. I saw a lot of the black African-American wrestlers going on Twitter, like Swerve, for instance, in NXT, numerous others talking about how much of an important moment this was for people of colour, and it is. Absolutely it is. You know, and the idea that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair are going to have this world-class match as well. I'd expect that to be world-class. I think that's wonderful. I really do. Do I think that people of colour should have a bigger opportunity, a bigger prospect, especially being mixed race myself? Absolutely, of course I do. Would have liked to have seen my Middle Eastern boy, Mustafa Ali, get a little bit more, but they've just mishandled him from the get-go, haven't they, at this point? It was just meh. It is what it is. By the way, New Day represent themselves so well in the Men's Rumble as well. Bianca versus Sasha will be totally amazing. I think that will steal the show. I really do. I'm not a huge fan of Bianca Belair, actually. I think she's fantastic, but she's just, I don't know, something about it's just not overly my cup of tea. But I was really grateful for her winning. I think her versus Sasha will be fantastic at Mania. The only downside, really, you could say, luckily it was on the pre-show. Got to say, I thought the women's tag match was a bit lackluster, a little bit.
Yeah.
It was okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just okay. It's on the kickoff as well, so you're not going to enjoy it nearly as much.
The problem with it being okay, like just okay, is that it had Charlotte Flair and Asuka and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax was there too. Like, you have three incredible workers in this match, and it's okay.
And Charlotte
because
Flair.
we get some more of this stupid Ric Flair Lacey Evans shit that wouldn't have flown in 2003, let alone now.
I'm uncomfortable with this. I didn't,
it's
and
weird.
I'm not an uncomfortable man, as you know, and I'll tell you how I feel, and I don't give a fuck. But I got to be honest, even I'm like, what? Why is Ric Flair out there? That's cringe. Why is he with Lacey Evans? Why would you give a woman loaded knuckles to take out your own daughter? Like, the dirtiest play in the game, and then there's this, which is just disgusting and grotesque, and like Astrid says, ooh, terrible storyline with Rick. It is, ugh. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross is what it is. It is a bit like, ugh. It just makes you uncomfortable, and you feel like, oh God, I need to get this off me, mate. This ain't very nice. I need a shower after watching that. It's cringe. And I think after Raw, you knew they've always got to do something classless. That's WWE in a nutshell. And, after Raw, where she got knocked out in front of her dad, and then her dad, she was like, come on, Rick. And they just walked over her daughter like she was a piece of trash. I thought, that for me is just like, if you're trying to shock people for the sake of shocking them, it doesn't make any sense. Especially as Ric Flair has been so instrumental in pushing Charlotte Flair to her limits to be the best she can be, and she's so important, ultimately carrying her dad's name as well. It's almost like WWE are subliminally trying to tell us Charlotte Flair's amazing despite of her dad, right? You know, and it's like, we know that. I think like real fans do realise that Charlotte Flair stands on her own as her own Flair. I don't care that she's Ric Flair's daughter. I care that she's fucking fantastic at what she does. Does having the Flair name help? Of course it fucking does. Does having the Orton name help? Yes it does. Anna White? Yes it does. There are a lot of people in wrestling. You know, Rhodes as well. Come on. Let's not act as if he's the only, you know, she's the only person with a family name that's got a fucking benefit from that in wrestling. Stop pretending like she's the only one. It's pathetic. But I just think it's a bit cringe, and I'm glad that Shayna and Nia Jax have the tag titles because it feels like they need it a lot more. Charlotte Flair doesn't need a tag title to prop her up, and Asuka doesn't need it, especially as Raw Women's Champion. So.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It frees Asuka up to actually, I don't know, defend the Raw Women's Championship. She didn't defend it at TLC because she was in the tag match. She didn't defend it tonight because she's in the tag match. Yeah. Asuka can do tag stuff. Her and Kairi were incredible. The Kabuki Warriors, I love them.
Best
and I miss Kairi Sane
best tag
so
team
much.
the women's division had since they brought those belts back, in my opinion. Even better than Sasha and, you know, and Bayley, and I love those two.
But now, like, Asuka can actually maybe have this more serious thing with Alexa Bliss. Hopefully that will happen at Elimination Chamber or Fastlane, whichever fucking pay-per-views between now and Mania. There could be 8 of them because who knows anymore. But I would definitely like to see that. And yeah, Nia and Shayna. Yeah, I don't know if I could say they'll use the titles better, but it'll at least, like I said, free up Asuka, which I think is the more important part. The titles are kind of like props anyway. No one cares. No one cares about the women's tag team titles. I care more about the Knockouts tag team championships and Impact that just came back than I do the WWE women's tag team championships.
Yeah, and it has to be said that those titles have been mismanaged as well. Do you know what? We'll leave it there. We're going to check out the podcast content. Astrid, so thank you so much for joining us just to kind of break things up and give us a bit of interaction. You're such a beautiful soul, bless you. Give me a message anytime if you want to chat, obviously. If you find anything difficult, I'm always here for all of our amazing WrestlePlug family. Yeah, no, we'll leave it there. Obviously, we will have an audio podcast being dropped, which will also have all the content from the video review that me and Kyle will be dropping on YouTube later today / tomorrow. So look out for that as well. Don't forget to let everybody know. Very happy to support you as well, young lady. Thank you very much. And ultimately, let everybody you know who loves wrestling know, because once we get every 100 subscribers we get, we're going to give something away until the end of February. So we've got a whole month to hopefully gain a few more 100 subscribers, give away some t-shirts, got some pop vinyls and stuff to give away as well. Loads of wrestling merch that I need to frankly shift and give to a good home. So that'll be a good opportunity to do that. But from Kyle and myself, well, we'll catch you very, very, very soon, because we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble a little bit more in depth on the podcast. But take it easy, Astrid, and take it easy, WrestlePlug gang. If you're watching this in retrospect later on, maybe you found this stream later down the line, thank you very much for checking it out. Don't forget to let us know what you think. Send us a message at WrestlePlug, and don't forget to subscribe to our audio podcast as well, because there's loads of exclusive content on there that isn't available on YouTube, and vice versa as well. YouTube is the place to be if you want weekly reviews on all the wrestling product, but we've got plenty of stuff going on with the audio podcast as well. So yeah, we'll leave it there, I think. Thank you very much, Carl, and thank you very much to everyone checking us out. Say goodbye, Carl.
It was a pleasure, buddy. And Astrid, thank you so much for watching. I don't know if there was anybody else, but if you're just here creeping, that's fine. It's nice to have you here. I have that in my regular streams all the time. But we're definitely going to dissect the Rumble a little bit more, and you guys will get a kick out of that, I'm sure. Yeah,
don't forget to check out Carl's stream, actually. For anyone who might be watching, quickly hit him with the link on Twitch, mate.
It's twitch.tv/xhistoria, where the O is a 0. Don't ask me why. I was an edgy person. But yeah, I stream League of Legends, World of Warcraft, any games with my friends, just hanging out, getting mad at video games, because that's what 30-year-old men do now. I'll be 30 in 3 months.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Fucking Christ.
I was 36 last week. That's so old. What a gift, though. What a gift the Royal Rumble was, and ultimately that is it. Good night, Astrid. Good night, everybody who's been checking us out, and hopefully you'll be catching up with us more, because I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to Raw and SmackDown this week. It's going to be one hell of a fallout from the Royal Rumble. I always look forward to the post-Raw and SmackDowns from pay-per-views. They always tend to be a little bit more spicy.
Yeah.
Astrid's going to be 30 in March. Let us know the date so we can send you a nice card, and we could probably do like a little birthday podcast for you for a laugh, just to pester you. Also, it's the WrestlePlug's 4th anniversary in March as well. So there you go.
4 years. Holy
I know,
shit.
it's crazy. We're almost at 500 as well. Mind blown. So yeah, right, let's get to that other podcast from the live stream. Thank you very much for checking us out. We will catch you soon, gang. March the 20th, just the day after WrestlePlug's birthday. Good stuff, lady. Good stuff. Take it easy, gang. Here we go.